Hey, it's Jesse Harrington, Heritage Home Lending. Hey, have you ever thought when looking at a contract and seeing a little provision that says that the seller will pay the closing fee at the title company if required by the VA, kind of what the VA is getting at there? Like, why would the VA need the seller to pay that particular fee? What's behind that? What I wanted to do today was go over that particular provision of the contract and show you what the VA's guidelines are and what's used to determine whether or not the buyer can pay that fee or not. So let's take a look here first at the portion of the contract that I'm referring to. So this is a copy of, or not a copy, but a small section of a contract that I had recently. And it's provision number 17 on the contracts that we see here in Rapid City. And it has this little line. This is escrow closing fees to be paid by buyer unless required by VA to be paid by seller. So that's her little verbiage there on the contract. And so how this is determined is by the lender who's originating the loan, what their fees are. So the VA takes all the fees that a buyer would have on their VA loan and puts all of those fees into one of two buckets. One bucket is called itemized fees, and one bucket is called non-itemized fees. And so in that itemized fee bucket, the buyer can pay any of those fees, really, regardless of how much they cost, as long as the lender's not marking them up more than what they really are. So like VA appraisals, homeowners insurance, those sort of things are going into that itemized bucket. But then there's this other bucket called the non-itemized fee bucket. And what the VA requires in that instance is all the fees that are going in that particular bucket need to be less than 1% of the loan amount. So let's take a look here kind of at the two buckets. The itemized fee bucket, the fees that are going in there are the VA appraisal, the recording fees, the credit report, the homeowner's insurance, the tax escrow, flood zone determination, those sort of things are all considered itemized fees and in that bucket, and the veteran can pay for all of them. And then this additional bucket, which the VA refers to as non-itemized, wouldn't be the word that I would choose to describe these, but it's the word that they use. And so what goes in that bucket is the settlement fee at the title company, the lender's admin, underwriting, processing fee, loan origination fee, those sorts of things, notary fees if you're using a remote notary to close. Those are the most common ones. And so any of those particular fees that are in that non-itemized bucket, when you look at the loan amount, they need to total less than 1% of the loan amount, or someone other than the veteran is going to have to pay those fees. So let me show you an example of what this looks like. So this here is a fees worksheet of just a sample VA transaction, and the little red arrows that you're seeing, so those are the fees that are going into that non-itemized bucket that need to be less than 1% of the loan amount. So in this instance, you have the admin fee with the lender, $1,045, tax service fee of $70, and then the closing fee at the title company of $639, and then you have the total loan amount of $346,797. So all the other fees in this scenario are considered itemized fees according to the VA. And so we just need to look at these three and compare those three fees, which they total $1,754, and that's less than 1% of the loan amount. So in this instance, the VA would allow the buyer to pay that $639 closing fee. So if there's ever a question of who's paying that, what it's really driven off of, the deciding factor according to the VA is the lender's non-itemized fee. So if someone other than the veteran is having to pay that, that's showing that that particular lender's fees are exceeding 1% of the loan amount. And so that's all information that really should be able to be found out very early on, perhaps even prior to accepting a contract. So there's really no reason to get down to the day of closing and not know whether or not the veteran can pay that 639 fee. So if I can be helpful on any scenarios, please let me know. Please drop me a reply email if you found this to be helpful, or if you found it to be not helpful or confusing. Hopefully not. But hope you're off to a great start here in the new year, and take care.